Hi, my name is Nicolette Huffman. I'm a student at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and today our group is presenting Modeling Social Dynamics with the Punishment, Cooperation, and Alternative Corrective Behaviors in Human Populations. Our project began with an interesting finding from developmental research. Studies show that infants as young as 19 months old demonstrate a preference for fairness and even support intervention against individuals who act aggressively towards others. This suggests that the tendency to punish or correct harmful behavior may not entirely be learned, but instead innate. This raised an important question for us. If humans show these tendencies so early in life, how do they shape society over time? More specifically, how do different responses to wrongdoings, punishment, correction, or avoidance affect long term social stability? To explore this, we looked at how adults respond when someone commits a harmful action. People react in different ways, so for our model, we defined four different behavioral groups. We have transgressors, who commit aggressive or harmful actions towards others. We have punishers, who respond by punishing those actions. Correctors, who intervene using education or restorative approaches. And avoiders, who act as bystanders and do not intervene at all. These responses can lead to different outcomes. Punishment may stop behavior quickly, but it can also escalate a conflict, while correction may reduce harm more slowly, but promote long-term stability. Avoidance, on the other hand, may allow harmful behavior to spread. Our literature review helped justify these groups. Research in 2022 suggests that judgments about fairness and intervention appear early on in development, while research in 2002 showed that altruistic punishment can increase cooperation, supporting the idea that punishment can help enforce social norms. On the other hand, research in 2006 found that punishment can also backfire and create instability. Finally, studies on restorative justice in 2007 showed that corrective approaches can reduce reoffending and increase satisfaction, especially in serious cases. Altogether, these studies highlight that punishment is a powerful yet unpredictable tool, and that correction often produces better long-term outcomes. This motivated us to create a mathematical model to study how these behaviors interact over time.
Hi, my name is Mary De La Garza. I am a student at Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi. To analyze these interactions, we developed a mathematical model using four population groups: transgressors, punishers, correctors, and avoiders. We made several simplifying assumptions to keep the model manageable. First, we assumed a closed population, meaning the total population remains constant. There are no births, deaths, or migration, only movements between groups. Our equation looked like T, transgressors plus punishers plus correctors plus avoiders would equal 1. Second, we assumed a well-mixed interactions, meaning individuals encounter each other proportionally based on group size. For example, the likelihood that punishers encounter transgressors depends on the product of P and T. Third, we include behavioral transitions. Avoiders may become transgressors through exposure. Avoiders may become punishers after witnessing harm. Avoiders may become correctors through training, and punishers and correctors may experience burnout and eventually return to the avoider group. This graph shows the time evolution of the four behavioral groups in our model: transgressors, punishers, correctors, and avoiders. At the start, avoiders make up the majority of the population, with the smaller proportions of transgressors, punishers, and correctors. Early on, transgressors increase slightly due to exposure, but they decline rapidly once punishers and correctors respond. Punishers rise quickly as they react to transgressions, reaching a short-lived peak before declining due to burnout. In contrast, correctors increase more gradually but become the dominant group over time, indicating that corrective interventions are more sustainable in the long run. Avoiders decline sharply at first as individuals shift into intervention roles, then slowly recover as burnout returns people to avoidance group. Overall, the graph demonstrates that while punishment acts quickly, correction drives long-term stability, and the balance between these responses is what ultimately suppresses transgressions and stabilizes a society. Each group is represented by a differential equation. Transgressors increase through exposure but decrease when punishers or correctors intervene. Punishers and correctors grow when they respond to harm but decline over time due to burnout. Avoiders act as a reservoir, supplying and receiving individuals as behaviors change. This model is nonlinear because it includes interaction terms like P times T, which represent real social encounters. It is also feedback based, meaning behavior changes in response to the current state of society. For example, rising transgression increases exposure, which can lead to more transgressors. We implemented the model computationally using SciPy Solve IVP function with the RK45 numerical method. Simulations were run from time 0 to 80 using realistic initial conditions. We confirmed that solution stayed between 0 and 1 and that the population conservation was maintained with only minor rounding errors due to numerical precision.
To understand, my name is Louis Tanner from Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi. To understand long-term outcomes, we ran simulations under 4 scenarios. In the first scenario, society was punishment dominant, with high punishment effectiveness and low correction. Transgressors declined quickly, but the system violated as punishment peaked and then burned out. In the second scenario, society was correction dominated. Harmful behavior declined more slowly, but the system was stable and avoidance decreased as more people became correctors. The third scenario modeled a mixed society with moderate and correction. This produced the most realistic outcome with all groups reaching a stable equilibrium. The final scenario included no intervention, meaning no punishers or correctors. In this case, transgressors grew rapidly and cooperation collapsed, showing that avoidance alone is sustainable. Across simulations, we observed consistent results. Transgressors declined towards 0 when intervention existed. Punishers peaked early and settled at low levels. Correctors became the dominant long-term group. Avoiders declined early and later stabilized as burnout returned. Individuals to that group. Our key findings were a society with punishers and correctors is the most stable. A society with only punishment became violent. A society with only correction is peaceful but slower to respond. And a society with mostly avoiders collapse. In conclusion, our model supports the idea that punishment can suppress harmful behaviors. It often comes with long-term costs, corrective approaches, promotes stability and cohesion, especially when supported by training and cultural norms. The most resilient societies balance both approaches. The model inspired by Kengoki in 2022 shows that the innate tendencies to punish or correct harmful behaviors influence societal behaviors. Punishment quickly suppresses aggression but may cause backlash, while correction leads to more stable, peaceful outcomes. Increasing correction reduces transgression steadily with minimal social burden. Restorative strategy yield low aggression and high welfare. Mixed strategies combining early punishment with sustained correction highlight the importance of balance. Through limit by lack of spatial structure and psychological depth, the model supports shifting from retribution to restoration, promoting long-term cohesion. Future work could add network effects and individual differences to probability. These findings have real-world applications in criminal justice, education, and community policy, where over-reliance on punishment may destabilize systems, while restorative approaches can lead to better long-term outcomes. This concludes our study for this assignment. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and for